So how difficult was it to take Stephen King's work and make it into a series and make it, because so much of it is going on in his head, especially.
Good point.
Yeah.
And so much of the point of view of the novel are those internal monologues that are so sick and tell you so much about Brady. And David Kelly and I, when I brought him onto it, talked originally about we could have him narrate, but it just felt like a cheat, and it would be too easy. So our task, the writing first of all, and Harry's performance, which he brilliant, was to dramatize and activate that character in those internal monologues without hearing the words. So that was a challenge, but I think we pulled it off. I do, objectively. And Harry's performance, and you really get a sense of just all that darkness and yet trying to be just a regular guy selling ice cream.
So is the first season going to be the first book?
Pretty much, yeah. We followed the plot and the architecture of the first book with some changes. We didn't make it a concert of a boy band at the end. The climactic sequence, it's something else, but it's really big in the town.
So then for future seasons,
Yes.
if it moves, I guess the books move on to other.
Well, Stephen wrote 3 books, which I didn't know when I optioned this one. When he sent me this, I went, yes, I love it. I thought about it as a movie and thought, it's just too much story for one movie. And and then he told me he was writing a second, and then a third. So we are ideally in success going to do all 3. And there's talk of a future beyond that, but
would you keep it as Mr. Mercedes if he's not the?
Well, he is in the second and third book.
Okay.
He's still, quote unquote, he's somewhat alive. You define life, but Brady continues in all 3 books, as do most of the characters who have survived, and we had to kill off a lot of them. And yet, in Brady's universe, which is in this supposedly brain-dead, comatose condition, he could think anything. You know what I mean? So we're hoping that, in a very dramatic, uncheesy way, we could still have some of our characters, Roby, Mom. I don't know how many episodes have you seen? Have you seen the 4 or just a few? 2?
Yeah, I've seen the first 4.
Yeah, but the characters are great. And that's what attracted me to the material was Stephen King is writing about the horror inside these characters, not the horror surrounding these characters. And I loved that and we got the cast to do it. They're just very, and there's humor. It's sick as fuck humor, but it's humor.
Well, you mentioned the cast. Talk a little bit about, obviously Harry turns in a great performance, but what was it about everybody that they were these characters to you?
Well, we have a great casting director named Denise Shamian, who I never want to work without. And she brought some of these people to my attention. The minute I saw Britta's audition, I went, oh my God. Talking about you. My daughter, who's one of the writers on the show and a brilliant writer, she happened to be around when I was looking at this audition, and she went, oh my God. And, Britta's great. I didn't know Britta, much of her work. We went after Brendan. Harry Treadaway was brought to my attention. I knew him from Penny Dreadful, but his other work was brought to once again my attention by Denise. Loved him. Kelly Lynch was a time and space connection where I met her husband, and suddenly, oh my God, Kelly Lynch would be great. And she went in and read and just blew us away. So that was like, wow. How did that happen? Jarrell was once again Denise. I'd seen Moonlight and loved it. But so it was a combination of things, but we were very fortunate to get the actors we got. Robert Stanton, I kind of knew from some stuff, and he's fabulous. as poor Roby, the manager of the store. So am I missing anybody? Because it's my good fortune to be surrounded by these actors. They're just great.
So it sounds like we're going to be spending a lot more time at the store and with the store employees than they do in the book. Is
Yeah,
that
probably,
correct?
probably. Although it's not going to be Superstore. We're not doing a series about this Radio Shacky Best Buy place.
Right. Is one of the reasons for doing that to also get rid of the inner monologue that you have to kind of fill in?
Well,
via some friends?
you know, probably. I mean, I read the book twice a long time ago. So, and that's probably true, that we had to dramatize and, you know, activate those inner monologues in Brady's life and populate it with the appropriate world. So probably so. You know, there is an episode where Deb ventures back out, tries to go sober, and ventures out into the world that's truly devastating and pathetic. And I don't think that was in the book, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so.
How much feedback or input do you get from Stephen King?
Well, when we started, Stephen decides he has so many projects out there, as you guys know, and he doesn't sign up to be an exec producer on many, and he didn't on this. And then I sent him, he has the right to. But I did include him in some of the casting choices, which he thought were great. And by the way, Mary Louise Parker, I keep forgetting to mention, and Justine Lupe, who comes up. They're exceptional. But what was I saying? It was Stephen, I sent him some of the actors, and he loved this one. He's very unintrusive and really trusts me. And he saw the pilot and went, oh my God, I love this. I've got to be an exec producer on it, which I was thrilled about. And every subsequent episode was another love letter. He's very proud of the show.
And
So that's incredibly gratifying.
What's your relationship like with David? What's working with?
David Kelly?
Yeah.
David Kelly, I had the good fortune as a director and a producer on One Thing to work on Ally McBeal and The Practice and some of those shows. David is a savant. You know, David, during those days, would sit with his yellow legal pad, come in at 9:30 in the morning, and sit with his legal pad in his office and write once a week a brilliant Ally McBeal and a practice. Maybe it was a week and a half, because they took 8 days to film. And he's brilliant. He's a genius, and I really suspected, aside from loving working with him, I really suspected that if this material in his hands, he'd hit it out of the park, because he can be really weird and dark and twisted. Thank you.
Thank